Meet Theo Sherman, an unemployed, overweight man with a bunch of positive traits but no skills. If you've never heard of the Zero to Hero challenge, it's really simple. The goal is to get every skill to level 10, starting from 0. This is probably one of the hardest challenges in Project Zomboid, and in my opinion it's only behind the 16 times population with the Zero to Hero challenge. I am using a few mods to make my life easier, but I'll talk about that in the sandbox settings as we go. Starting things off, I got a frying pan and went outside to see how bad the zombie situation was. And it's not as bad as I thought it would be. Because of the 0 strength and 0 melee skills, I'm gonna get my muscle strains like all the time, which means I'm gonna be resting all the time. I went over to the front neighbor to see if I could watch his TV, and he wasn't home, but I figured he wouldn't mind. I gained a level in cooking while fending off zombies. Speaking of zombies, I changed their settings to random, so some of them will have pinpoint hearing with long memory and eagle sight, and all that while being able to open doors and windows. It's gonna make the start of the playthrough a lot harder, but it's a way to keep the game exciting as we get stronger. I also got the first carpentry level watching woodcraft. And this is what pinpoint hearing does. I killed one zombie in seconds. There are like 4 more coming at me. I looted a few houses and cars, but once I got to this fence, there were just too many zombies for me to fight right now. I tried losing them in the forest and found a couple of trailers that don't seem so bad, zombie-wise. In one of them I found a few skill books that are gonna be really useful later on. I watched some more Life and Living and went out to clear the other trailers. Because of the Pillows Random Spawns mod, I'm not exactly sure where I'm at. I think this might be the little neighborhood before the Louisville checkpoint, but I could be wrong. I wanted to go out and clear a few zombies before the day was over, so I left my makeshift bag on the floor and went on to fight the zombies around the houses. I couldn't do much before it got dark, so I just went back to the trailers and that's day 1. I got another cooking level the next morning and went out to kill more zombies and loot the houses. Progress is gonna be very slow in the beginning because of the strains and my combat skills. I found a hatchet in a zombie, so that should help a little. I managed to loot only a couple more houses today, but I think I cleared almost all of the zombies on this street. There were a few zombies getting close to the trailer, but I got rid of them. And leveled up to strength 1. Just having the +1 in inventory space feels a lot better in this stage of the challenge. And it does look like there are not that many zombies left on the street where we spawned. I started going south, and after killing a bunch more zombies, I went back to watch more Life and Living and got the first fishing level. I cleared some more zombies around the area and found a magazine in the mailbox. Once I got back to the trailer, I gathered all of the items I have, because tomorrow we're moving. I'm gonna stay in this house, and as we clear the zombies, I'll keep moving forward until I find out for sure where we are. I went back to looting houses and got the first combat level. I broke the hatchet and had to use a wrench to fight zombies, which is not great, but I'm gonna have to level up Sharpline at some point, so... I got a little too confident here and ended up with a laceration. Probably not gonna kill me, but either way, I need to be more careful. I leveled up to maintenance 1 today. And used up all of the weapons I had in me fighting these zombies. Once I was rested, I went back home to look for anything I could use as a weapon. I spent the rest of the night reading the first agriculture book, and then went to bed. I leveled up to Carpentry 2 the next day watching Woodcraft. I found a bait shop down the street, and got the first fishing book here. I also got a level in Sharpline today. And after clearing some more houses, I went back home to watch TV and leveled up foraging. When you can't open a door and there's no key for it, just get a zombie to do all the work for you. The next morning I got one more level in cooking. Today I finally found a better bag. And found this survivor car with the keys. Now when the helicopter shows up, I can use it to go somewhere else. I got some food at the grocery store and got really tired trying to get back to base. Once I did get back, I leveled up to Trapping 1 and finished reading the agriculture skill book. I found this map of Louisville and it turns out I was right. We are really close to the military checkpoint and the Crossroads Mall. And that means I really need to get out of here before the heli shows up. Because if I don't, it's gonna be a nightmare to get into Louisville when I do decide to go there. Here's something cool that can be useful from time to time. If you don't have any painkillers and need to sleep, you can just click to drink 1/4 of any alcoholic beverage and press ask right away. You won't get drunk, but will still get the painkiller and antidepressant effect. I brought the car back to the house the next day and loaded it with all of our items. No, just in case. I got to carpentry level 3. And once the show was over, I went back to clearing the neighborhood. I saw the first intelligent zombie today. I spent the whole day just trying to get into this junkyard and leveled up to fitness 1. That's one of the skills that's gonna take a while to get to 10. I found the first reloading skill book here in the junkyard. That's another skill that's gonna take a while. It was late to go back to base, so I just left here today. The next morning I went across the highway and found a gas station with a few stores around it. But before I could clear the place or do anything else really, yeah, the heli event. I ran back to the car and started making my way towards West Point. If the heli goes away before I get there, I might end up basing at the gun store or the storage unit. But unfortunately, the heli was still just barely following me, so there's no way I can stay here with all the zombies coming this way. So I just kept going. If I'm really gonna beat this challenge, I have to be smart and not just go into a city and try to grind skills right now. I need to get better weapons, a stable food source, and get stronger so I can fight zombies for longer periods of time. With all that being said, I decided to go to Fellas Lake, or at least close to Fellas Lake, and build myself up there. But on the way I saw what looks like a cabin by a lake, so I decided to go check it out and see if I can find weapons here. And this place is amazing. I'm pretty sure I saw this in a thumbnail of a video, but I had no idea it was here in the middle of nowhere. If I can clear the zombies, I might actually base here. Okay, I wasn't expecting this many zombies. I ended up getting another laceration. And it's also getting late. I guess I'll come back here once I'm stronger. I got back in the car and arrived at this place close to Fellas Lake that's not too bad with zombies. Found a generator straight away and a barricaded house that I can't really get in right now because I don't have the tools to unbarricade it. While I was clearing this house that I'm gonna base at, I found a bunch of books in the basement that are gonna help out a lot. Now that the base is safe, I can go to sleep and put an end to this chaotic day. I woke up the next day and went out to clear the outskirts of the house. I found this warehouse close to the base and a shed right next to them that had a bunch of tools and a few skill books. After I cleared the zombies in this area, I went back to the house and got started on organizing the items. I'm gonna use this basement as a library to keep all of the skill books, magazines, and recipes I find just in one place. Once I was done with that, I went over to the barricaded house and got a bunch of ammo there. I leveled up to maintenance 2 today. And right after that, I set off an alarm at this house, but I don't think there are that many zombies around here, so it should be fine. The next morning I finished reading the fishing book and then went out to explore more of the area. I found more tools in this shed, including a sledgehammer, and there's also quite a few seeds here, so now I can start to level up agriculture. I took this generator back to base, and since I got exerted and had to rest, I read the first Animal Care skill book and started on the first tracking book. And I finished that one the next morning. I sold some of the seeds that I got yesterday. It's not much, but it's a start. I moved the TV downstairs so I can watch the VHS tapes once I get them. And then I read another skill book. I woke up panicked in the middle of the night, and I think it's because of the blood. I really need to remember to take a shower every once in a while. I took some sleeping pills and woke up at 10 the next day. I went out to loot a few houses I saw on the map and stayed the whole day there just fighting zombies. At night I took the risk and slept in this house just so I don't have to go back to base and then back here again tomorrow. It's fairly cleared now, so I think it'll be alright. I finished looting the houses the next day and actually found a barbell in one of them. After that, I drove around for a while, but once I got to the base, I unloaded the car and went downstairs to exercise and read. I was gonna use the barbell, but it only gives me strength XP, and right now I need both. So I'm gonna be doing burpees, and while I rest, I can read a book. I'm gonna do this until I get to strength and fitness 3, and then we can go to Palace Lake. I leveled up to fitness 2 the next day. And strength 3 a couple days later. The next morning I started to go towards Palace Lake, but I was afraid to get muscle strains because of all the training, so I just cleared the first houses on the way. After clearing the zombies on this one, I went down to the basement to find a ton of weapons and tools. I even had to bring the car over, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to get all of it today. When I got back to base, I realized that the overweight trait was gone, so now we shouldn't tire as fast. And now that we got to strength 3 and found a bunch of weapons, we can start clearing Palace Lake. I don't think I'm gonna clear all of the houses right away. First I wanna get to the bookstore and the more important POIs on the main street. And I think the alarm helped me a little because there were no zombies around the bookstore. I just went in and got what I needed. But the next day I found out where the zombies were. Now the only thing for me to do is kill all of them until this place is clear. I leveled up Sharp Blade today. I got in the police station and looted all of the guns and ammo for when I decide to level up aiming and reloading. I found 2 red X's in the trunk of the fire department truck and leveled up to X2 with them. When I got home, I sold some more seeds I found. The next day I looted a farming store. I got a bunch more seeds, a few books, some weapons and tools. But the really interesting thing was in here. A ton of guns and ammo. A lot more than in the police station, which makes sense because this is a store that sells guns. But the amount of ammo in here is enough to get me a few levels in aiming, when I do decide to level that up. But that's not gonna happen now. I loaded up the truck outside to take all of the items back to base, but honestly it's getting kinda far for me to go back and forth every day. That being said, I'm gonna clear out the church to base on the 2nd floor, and then I'll use our current base as a safe house to read books and exercise. So the next day I loaded up the car and went on to clear the church. There were quite a few zombies scattered around the area, but inside the church itself it was pretty much empty. I wanted to make sure a meta event wouldn't get me surrounded out of nowhere, so I cleared the first few houses across the lake as well. After that was done, I drove the truck over and leveled up to Nimble 1. But I hadn't noticed I had paused the recording, so I missed it. Since the church is not completely safe yet, I went back to base to stay there one more night. When I got back, I added escape ropes to all sides of the place, and then destroyed the stairs with the sledgehammer. But I regretted that almost immediately. just because of how slow it is to climb up and down the rope in Build 42. I guess that as you level up strength, it gets faster, but right now it's painfully slow. I got a couple metal shelves that I found downstairs to store some of the items, and then spent the whole day unloading the car and bringing everything up here. At night I went out to try to get a bed for the place, but I couldn't get one, so I just slept on the couch. The next day I went back to clearing the main street and leveled up to maintenance 3 and spear 1. And long blunt 2 the next morning. I spent some time today looting the grocery store and the tool store, and I just now realized how hard it is to find machetes in Build 42. I haven't seen a single one so far. I crafted a few spears to try to level up to level 2, and I saw that if you make the burn tipped one, it's like better or it lasts longer, but it turns out you need a recipe for that, so yeah, not gonna happen. Today I finished clearing the main road that ends in a gas station, and that's great because the lights are about to go out and I still haven't found a generator mag. The next day I started to clear the residential area and loot the houses. I leveled up to Sharp Blade 2 today. Before the lights go out, I need to take as much gas from the gas station as possible, cause I don't know when I'll find the Jenny magazine. I started with the truck, and then I towed the blue van over as well. And filled up the gas cans I had. Now that we're close to a lake, I think this will be the perfect place to level up agriculture, so I started to work on that today. I really don't like how slow the escape rope is, so I chopped down a few trees to build a staircase again. On day 30 I went out again to clear the zombies, and leveled up to fitness 3 and spear 2. At night I got the last part of the bed that I needed, and now this place is starting to look like a base. And the next day, the power went out. I still haven't found the magazine, but it's fine for now. Today I finally finished clearing Fella's Lake, so I'm gonna start focusing on leveling up skills next. Starting with foraging. I want to try to level up to fishing 2 and then go back to the save files and read more books. Problem is, I have no idea how fishing works in Build 42, so this might take some time. After watching a few videos, I finally caught my first fish. And then I went on to continue fishing without any bait, but I did level up so. Next up is mechanics. I had to go look for a jack, but it wasn't so hard to find one. Just the cars here in the parking lot were enough to get me to level 2 really fast. Then I wanted to level up metalworking. I even built a charcoal burning pit, but it turns out I need masonry level 2 to do that, and I haven't read the skill book yet. So I'm gonna go back to the save files to get that done. I had forgotten that the power was out, so I'm gonna have to read outside. I've been collecting watches pretty much since day 1, and I decided to start dismantling them while I wait. After reading the book, I went out to find large stones to break into small ones, and I got to level 1. Once I got back to the church, I crafted those stones into stone blocks and got another level. Now with the stone anvil, I can craft a primitive forge and start leveling up metalworking. Inside this trailer I found a couple days ago, there are a few chickens that I used to level up to butchering 1. Then I went on to find some clay so I can build a primitive forge and a primitive furnace. But it turns out metalworking is a difficult skill to level up, and it requires a lot of clay to craft molds, and I don't have a good source of clay nearby. So I'm gonna wait until I go to a city like Riverside to level that up. I spent the rest of the day fishing, and tomorrow I'll go back to the safe house again and read all of the books there so we can get moving. There's not really much to show now, I'm just gonna be reading books and exercising. I leveled up to strength 4 right the next day. And fitness 4 a few days later. The crops that I sold here a few weeks ago are ready to harvest, and it only took like 4 tiles to get me to level 2. On day 49 I got to strength 5. And fitness 5 a couple days later. On day 54 I finished reading the skill books, now there's just the magazines left. And after 20 straight days doing this, I can finally go do something else. Before we leave for Riverside, I want to fix the blue van, and for that I'm gonna need welding level 1. And the best way to get welding XP is to dismantle cars. Now just one last thing. Since I still haven't found the generator magazine, I'm gonna go for the second best option, which is to level up to electrical 3. Cause at level 3 you'll learn to connect generators automatically, without having to read the magazine. And the best way I found to get electrical XP is to look around for kitchens and dismantle all the appliances there. And also these desk lamps. Later on I was foraging for bait and got to foraging 4. And with everything ready, we can finally go to Riverside. I wanted to take a different route to get there, so instead of the usual drive, I turned left towards the country club and went all the way past the big warehouse and storage unit to get to Riverside through the back roads. The plan here is to loot the warehouse before we actually get into Riverside. First I need a place to base at, and these houses are the best I can get right now. I leveled up to maintenance 4 and running 1 today. After a whole day clearing zombies, I settled in this house, and tomorrow we keep going. Now that I'm done with the back roads, we can start to chip away the zombies around the warehouse. Leveled up to long blunt 3 here. And sharp blunt the next day, right after finding the generator magazine. Not that I need it now. On day 61 I got inside the warehouse and I really liked the aesthetics of the place. Like it's been ransacked. I completely forgot they added that to the game. I got to sharp blade 3 today. And carving 1 while crafting spears. I looted the storage units the next day, but there's really nothing useful here. After that, I went up to the roof of the warehouse to read the next maintenance book. And now that that's done, we can keep going. I found this farm with pretty much all the animals you need to survive. I think I'm gonna base here until I clear Riverside. I'm pretty sure they buffed this spear in build 42 because I'm killing zombies with 2 or 3 hits max, and I'm only a level 2. They did make it harder to craft them now, but it's not impossible. I managed to clear the place in 1 day, and then I just placed a few troughs for the animals. I was clearing the entry of Riverside and leveled up to maintenance 5. I've never seen this before. 2 sports cars with 100% engine quality right next to each other. There's even a key for the red one. Today I cleared the zombies around the police station, but I couldn't get in the armory because I didn't find a key. I'll come back later with a hammer and get it open. An alarm went off at the gas station and attracted a bunch more zombies to the area. I leveled up to maintenance 6 and now I gotta find the next skill book. I was playing a little distracted and ended up with a scratch. Every time my run starts to get repetitive, I end up doing something like this. I really need to be more careful. I got into the mail service, hoping to find the next maintenance book, but apparently they changed the type of items they spawn in here, because there's almost no skill books. I started day 70 going into the woods to find mineral deposits so I can craft some axes. I also need tree branches, so I tried foraging for it. I got a total of 4 axes, which is not a lot, but I think it'll be enough to get me to the next level. Today I looted a little shopping center with the VHS store and got to X level 4. Then I went on to clear the houses south of here. I want to start leveling up some of the crafting skills, more specifically the metalworking skill. But first I need to clear the hardware store to make sure I have whatever tools I might need to level up. Once that was done, I went back to the warehouse to try and find some more stuff I needed, and tomorrow we can start working on this. The first thing I have to do is get some clay over by the river, because I'm gonna need a ton of that. Now I can build some of the structures I'll need. Starting with a burning pit to make charcoal, and a kiln. After going to the hardware store to get a masonry chisel, I leveled up to level 3 and 4 making stone blocks. I want to build a simple forge, but for that I'm going to need a blacksmith anvil and a wooden bucket. So I went out to the warehouse to look for the materials. But what I found out later is that I need to forge the anvil and the iron band for the bucket. And for that, of course, I need the primitive forge. I don't think it ever took me this long to connect the generator for the first time in a run. Now that I have the primitive forge and a pottery wheel, I can make the things I'll need for the simple forge. The iron band wasn't hard to make, and this bucket is actually bigger than the normal one, which is really cool. But now the anvil, that was a grind. I need like 10 different workstations to get a single mold. Then I had to make some pottery stuff to get to level 1. Then got a bunch of charcoal. And now I have to find stuff to melt. After melting some of the things I got at the warehouse, I can finally craft the anvil. Which means I can finally craft the simple forge. There's not much I can make right now at level 0, so I'm gonna have to grind metalworking for a while. But before I do that, I need to take a break from all this forging stuff. So I'm gonna level up some of the other skills that I've already read the skill books for, starting with pottery level 2. Then I went out to find mineral deposits to level up knapping. The next day, after getting to carving level 2, I went wanted to level up fishing, so I went over to the bait shop to get some supplies and spent some time fishing at the river. I didn't have enough bait to level up, so I just went back to base. I've gathered a good amount of watches, so I'm gonna dismantle them and try to level up electrical. I didn't have enough to get me to level 4, but I'll worry about that later. I spent a good part of the day moving all of the cows over to the middle pen to make it easier to deal with them later. Once that was done, I went back to the warehouse to find a large hook, but I had no luck with that. When I got back, I started cutting the bars and forging them back together to level up metalworking. Before ending the day, I got some of the eggs the chickens laid and leveled up to cooking 4, but I didn't record it. The next day I went back to grinding metalworking, and after a little stop to make some more charcoal, I got to level 2. Now I can make the large hook and start working on butchering. But first I want to finish some of the other skills, like electrical. I also decided to bring back to base some of the cars I found, so I can level up mechanics. And now that I can hotwire cars, it shouldn't really take that long. After a day of going back and forth, I think I got enough cars to work on. Since mechanics is gonna take longer to level up than some of the other skills, I'm gonna leave it for later. Instead, I wanted to work on glass making, but I need carpentry 5 to build a pottery table so I can make molds, so that's not gonna happen now. One thing I can do is level up welding, so I went back to the warehouse one more time to find some torches, and once I had enough, I started dismantling cars to get to level 2. Next up is tailoring, and for that I'm gonna need a ton of rags and thread. After getting to level 1, I ran out of materials, so I'm gonna have to go on a loot run. The easiest way to get rags is to rip clothes off of zombies, but it's better to do that when you have a big pile of zombies somewhere. So the next best thing is to remove curtains. Now we can get to level 2. The next skill I want to level up is carpentry. I started by building things that I actually need, like a butchering hook and a lamppost. But there's really nothing else I need, so I just crafted a bunch of wooden molds to get to level 4. And since I built the butchering hook, I decided to go with that next. So I got one of the bulls and got to level 2 butchering. Next up, animal care. Some of the cows are ready for milking, but because they're stressed, they won't let me do it. So the only way I found to level up is to lure and pet them. And it actually didn't take as long as I thought it would. Okay, now I'm ready to level up mechanics. I made one last trip to the warehouse to get the tools I needed, and got started uninstalling and installing everything. I am using the auto mechanics mod because it's just really annoying having to do this manually. And after only a few hours, I got to Mechanics 4. Before I read the next set of books, I want to loot the bookstore in Riverside just to make sure I have every single one I'll need. But I'm gonna have to clear the zombies in front of the store. So let me get started. I don't know what made these zombies come out of the street, but that's definitely not gonna help me. After looting the bookstore, I went back to base and hopped on the van to start making the trip back to Fellas Lake. I want to level up to Fishing 4 and Trekking 2 before I read the skill books, but I'm gonna need some bait first. I got some sand at the gardening store, so I can make some chum. And after fishing for a while, I got to level 4. Now the only skill left is Trekking, and I can tell this is gonna be a hard one. It's gonna take a lot of walking to get this done, and honestly, I don't feel like doing it now. So I'm gonna go read all of the books, and I'll worry about this later. And after organizing all of the items, I got started on what's gonna be another 15 days of reading and exercising. Once that was all done, I went back to the church base and leveled up to Agriculture 3 while harvesting some of the crops that were ready. And I almost got to level 4 as well. I ended up forgetting to watch the VHS tapes, but it turns out that just like with Life and Living, they only give you XP up until level 3, and after that they're just useless. That's really a bummer, cause I had collected a bunch of them to watch all at once, and that would have saved me a ton of time. I did get to level up trapping with it, so at least that.